I would say out of all of them, this one sounds the most fake. Can you hear the music? Sounds like a Chuck E. Cheese commercial or something, right?
Is this something
This is AI. Yeah, this is garbage.
Well, if you just showed this to someone that, they would just be like, okay, it's just a,
Yeah.
kind of a
This
generic
one sucks. This one
song.
sucks. I think this one's pretty bad. I like the boop, 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 boop. Boop. Boop.
It's all music to me.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? I gotta fix something here. I gotta fix the lights when the lights go down in the city. Are they on? Are they on? Yeah. All right. We did it. We did it. Oops. That didn't. Whoop. Whoop. Okay.
Whoop, whoop.
Oh, whoop. That. Oh, God. When I was a kid, did anybody ever do that when you were a kid where your voice would crackle or something? And so little boys do it especially. Maisie did it some too, where you'd find a noise that you like as a young child and you'd be like, oh. So you do it. You'd be in the car going somewhere with your dad. And I'd be going like, and my dad would be like, shut the fuck up! Like, God damn it, Dad, Lee, stop making a goddamn no. What the fuck? That's what he would yell at me.
If I was in the car, I was usually extending an invisible knife blade out of the side of the car and cutting down all the power poles on the side of the road. Do you ever do that?
Yeah. Being a little boy is awesome. And still being a little boy at 48 is even more awesome. Because I get to fuck ladies.
I would like...
But I have the same mentality. Like, I'm like, but I fuck.
I would look out the window and pretend that if I was on a dirt bike, I could jump
Yes.
all ramps.
Yeah, two fingers.
Yeah. And then all the ditches, and then and then sometimes you hit an on ramp, and you go over that, the road that goes over you.
Yeah,
the overpass.
I'll never forget. And then I'll end with this one. I was riding in my mom's white Honda Accord, the bubbly one. Or maybe that was a Civic. I think it was a Civic, Honda Civic, white, bubbly Civic. And we're riding, and she's smoking with the windows up. And she's wearing her brown, I still remember it. It was a brown bell-bottom. This is when ladies my mom was very slight and very thin. She'd wear a jumpsuit.
The suit.
Yeah,
all
jumpsuit.
sewn
So
together.
it had like a white doily front. And then her titties, and then it was long brown bell-bottoms. And she's smoking, and she has her hair like 70s, and we're going down the road.
I'm pretty sure it's all the mom on the Partridge Family wore.
Yep. And then we see a guy hitchhiking, and he's giving the thumb. So I give the thumb to him, and then he goes, fuck you. And gives me the middle finger, and I burst into tears.
Oh.
Because I was convinced he was going to come and kill me.
Yeah.
Because my parents had been heavily telling me about Adam Walsh.
Oh, yeah.
Had been decapitated, fucked in the ass.
Why did they tell you
The little
that?
boy had been fucked in the ass, decapitated, and thrown in the river, or whatever. Yeah, but I was convinced that was going to be me.
Why did they tell you?
They didn't tell me that part, but when I found out what happened, I was like, oh my God.
Early mid-'80s, there was this move among parents to
Scare the fuck out of you.
tell kids, and it was led by the what's his name?
John Walsh
from America's Most Wanted or whatever.
His son died,
and he went on this huge media campaign convincing parents to scare the shit out of their kids every time they stepped out the side of the fucking door because otherwise they would die.
And I remember later,
and that got drilled into us.
And I remember eavesdropping on what my parents were saying, and I remember my dad saying something to the effect of
he was fucking the cops.
Well, my dad said something like, well, you can't trust him because he's a cokehead.
Oh.
And I think there was something to that. Like there was some.
That's when you switched to Pepsi.
Yeah, it was weird. Anyway, that was a scary. The 80s, a scary time to be a young boy.
They literally, anytime you stepped outside the door, they reminded you, "Hey, be careful. You could be kidnapped by literally anybody on the street."
And they'll decapitate you. And they're going to decapitate you.
And now we live, and those kids are now parents.
Exactly.
That scream trafficking every time they don't let their kids outside anymore.
There's
no kids outside.
Here's the dichotomy of it, though. It would be like, "Hey, be careful. You could be kidnapped and tortured and murdered in a basement. Okay, go get my Marlboros." I'm going outside because she sent me the store to get cigarettes, but but be careful.
They were told they weren't traumatized into it, but the kids were traumatized. Now they're like they won't let their kids out of their sight. You can't go nowhere.
Absolutely.
Would you like to begin?
Sure.
And this is ACT?
Yes.
Which ones?
One.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, here we go, buddy. In 3, 2.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on YouTube and Twitch. Come see us. Just search at Tom and Dan Live and watch our podcast Monday through Friday in the beautiful Just Call Mo studio. There you go. Little Studio Mo.
Ross McCoy's here. How you doing, Ross?
Mo VIP card holder.
Yeah.
Ross McCoy.
Yeah, man. That's a metal card.
It's a cool card.
Yeah, it is a very cool card.
You could sign up for free to be a Mo VIP metal card holder at justcallmo.com.
You can.
And you'll get a personalized metal card mailed to you.
Yeah, I signed us up. You and I.
All right.
I signed us up.
But then there are a lot of benefits.
Sometimes I think, though, that if Bus Decker is like how you and I are, like if you and I had a metal card that listeners could sign up for, if like Ross signed up for it and I came across my desk, I'd be like, I know Ross, he doesn't get one. I'd only give it to the people. Right?
These things cost money.
You know what I mean? Like I'd be all right. Like I'll give him one last because I know him. But that's what you were thinking, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna pay to have this thing made for Ross.
So my point is, do you think Bus Decker got because I filled out the form? And I'll fill it out for you, too. Well, you already have it.
I got one in my wallet right now.
Ross is taken care of.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
But I filled it out for the two of us. I think Bus Decker would look at it and be like, well, they don't get them. They don't need it.
He'll spend Mo's money. I know, Bus.
Okay.
Whatever.
He does love spending money.
If it was out of his pocket, he wouldn't do it.
On vacation again, oddly enough, Bus Decker. He's in Detroit right now. So we'll have to.
That's the Mo card.
Oh, wow. Listen to that.
Whoa. I know Ross isn't that into sports.
Somebody dropped their presidential Christmas ornament. I used to have a Christmas ornament that sounded like that. It was the White House.
Which president?
It would have been Reagan.
We'll get this over real quick.
Yeah.
And because obviously
Ross is allergic to this. You can't do this while he's here.
The two big games over the weekend to decide who's going to be in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And it's going to be a Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl.
We've had that before 2 years ago.
Yeah,
right? We had that.
Yeah, and so there's one funny thing that I saw in the Eagles-Commanders game that, Ross, did you watch any of the games over the weekend?
No.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, we kind of guessed that.
So, and I'll kind of give you the gist of it. The Eagles.
It's an oblong ball, right?
It's the oblong one.
Yeah,
yeah. Shaped like a doo-doo.
It's football, but they don't use the feet. Only a couple times.
Yeah.
Primarily hands. Anyway, so the Eagles do this play.
Soccer, they do use their socks quite a bit.
I know. A lot of socks in the game. That's what I thought it was for. It has nothing to do with it.
So the Philadelphia Eagles do this play that it's the dumbest name in the world that I hate even saying, but they call it the tush-push or the brotherly shove.
You love it. You love tush-push.
Don't make us say tush.
Sounds like a line dance.
Well, I'm going to call it the ass shove now.
The ass shove. Okay, I like that.
Because
the butt. Push.
So basically, the quarterback essentially gets the ball and then.
Why do we call it the hiney lean?
How about the assault?
All right,
Oh, I like that. Assault.
Essentially, the a fullback or another strong ass player pushes the quarterback from behind, which the Eagles essentially get 1 or 2 yards every time, and then people are all mad about it.
Oh, I know that place called the Shawshank.
The chat room, especially Eagles fans coming out. This is Christine saying it's a quarterback sneak.
Yeah, it's a
We could
quarterback
just call
sneak.
it a quarterback sneak.
With the only difference being that
they're pushing his ass.
Yeah, the players from behind are pushing him.
Yeah.
Which
It's the ass push quarterback sneak.
So anyway,
now, are you doing this with your first string quarterback? Because this seems like you're pushing him into a meat grinder.
Yeah,
basically.
you are.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
The Philadelphia Eagles are now. What's funny about that is Baltimore decided to do it with Mark Andrews, and I think that a lot more teams, once they saw Baltimore do it, like Andrews was just taking it instead of putting Lamar Jackson at risk of injury or whatever.
Why do that?
Just have your biggest player take they'd have to practice taking the snap, and you have a little worry about them bobbling the snap because they're not used to it. But anyway,
if start practicing for it, it makes sense to me.
Anyway. So back to this, because this is the first time I've ever seen this.
Yeah, EJ says Kelsey's done it for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And so, although they didn't go to that.
They haven't done that in a minute.
which is weird because it seems like the Eagles are so good at it. Anyway, so they get it's first and goal on the 1 yard line. Maybe it ends up being second and goal because it ended up being the longest second down in NFL history. So the Eagles, they decide, hey, I'm just going to do this play over and over until I get a yard. Because, in fact, a lot of people have been saying that. Like, if it's just first and goal on the 1,
just push the guy in.
Yeah, just do the push over.
Just
keep
you get
falling
4 times over
yeah.
until you fall in with
Sure.
big fat people fall into. Yeah, it'll work.
And so the Commanders, like at this point in time, like the game was a little bit out of hand. The Eagles ran away with it. Like they ended up scoring 55 points. But so I think the Commanders are just like, well, we're just going to do whatever we can to stop this, even if it's
penalized.
Our linebacker jumping over the line of just trying to plan it so that to stop this play. So this guy, Luvu, from the Commanders, just starts jumping over the offensive line to try to stop the play.
His full name is Louis Vuitton. I don't know if you know that.
He just starts getting penalties after penalties, but they don't care because they're 1 foot from the goal, and then if you get a penalty that close, it's half the distance. So they just start moving the ball up by inch. So it happens over and over. And then finally the refs are like,
are we going to investigate Zeno's paradox here in a football game?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
Yeah, how
crazy.
close? Yeah. Like how close can you get it? So finally, the refs.
The tortoise eventually steps over the halfway point.
What is half the distance of a gnat's pecker?
Yeah, and then the guy stopped jumping over, and then now
he
it was
got
just
tired.
But it was just the line jumping, and then the refs like they came out and they're like, if Washington continues to do this, we
Sound
will
like a parrot, right? If you keep doing that,
we will award the Eagles a touchdown. And then the
I don't like that. I think you should be able to do it until the end of the game. I think you should be able to do it until forever.
And then the ref, the ref analyst, I forgot the Levitor or what or something.
Oh, when they go to the guy?
He's like, there is a rule where the referees can award a touchdown.
What?
For
if the other team is acting like a child,
like for like egregious penalties that they're doing it on purpose over and over. And I'm like,
yeah, because the game isn't progressing.
What, like when J.K. Rowling has Dumbledore come in and just say Gryffindor wins, even though Slytherin has 1 billion more points than them?
And then I was
the
like,
NFL can do that?
I was like, oh, please let it happen, because I was like, keep doing it and let's see if they'll see it happen.
Make them do it.
Because then there's so many other weird things, and like who gets credit for the touchdown? The whole team? Like in the stats?
I don't know.
Do that points get left out of the stats? Does the quarterback just automatically get credit for a touchdown if the referees it's never happened? And I was like, man, it was so close to happening. And
is the quarterback getting like 4 inches rushing every time he moves forward? Is that getting added to his total?
Yeah. It would just be penalties.
Less than a yard.
2 inches.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever that is.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was because I like it when something that's never happened before has a chance of happening.
Well, then you should be pretty happy about old Andy Reid, right? I mean, you should be leaning that way. Shouldn't you want old Andy Reid to get his thing that's never been done before? Does that make him the greatest head coach of all time?
There's lots of different
but that's a great metric, right?
Everybody's going to argue this forever if they do win 3 Super Bowls in a row. That's the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl for the third time.
You know what's most impressive? And he did it. Saying Bundalaruski do. All of that, and he's in a commercial where he looks into the camera and says Bundalaruski do, and looks like a complete and utter idiot. And that's got to make all the other series coaches mad, right?
Yes.
That he eats the hamburgers and acts like a silly guy.
I think he's
the guy.
He's that kind of personality, which makes him a unique football coach. That
he's a one of one. Is there another guy like Andy Reid that's that fun, but also that successful?
No, because Belichick has always been grumpy.
Ditka would laugh back in the day. Ditka would
okay, you know what? That's it. For a non-sports guy.
I mean,
I can always count on you to bring. That's actually a really good choice.
Or are we thinking that is it some sort of psychological illusion because of SNL and so many Ditka?
Hold on.
I mean, Matthew McConaughey was just dressed, and I saw in a commercial like
Fumblerooski.
He's dressed like Mike Ditka doing the Bears thing, like
I actually like and I do not like Matthew McConaughey, but those commercials where he's like, Jerry's eating rice. Those commercials are great. They're great commercials. They're really funny. And old what's his name went to Germany and got the stem cells, but didn't talk about it. Was out again. San Francisco.
Oh, McCaffrey, yeah.
He is not a bad actor. Playing himself.
Yeah.
Like he's not bad at all.
Yeah. Some football players are super awkward in commercials.
He's not. He's pretty good.
He's good.
Let's go back to these referees, because what is the line? Like, how many times would they let that play run? Because, like, I understand.
How many times would you let it run?
Well, infinite. Because at a certain point, like, somebody's going to fumble, something's going to happen. You keep running that play, it's going to end up differently. Whether it takes like 4 tries or 400 tries, let them keep going until somebody fumbles or somebody strips somebody or they finally push it in or something.
Well, the problem was the defense was just because they were jumping off sides, and so you keep having to move the ball up by half the distance.
Then give that player a personal foul, get him off the field, bring in the next guy, keep doing it until they're out of players. Let's play the game. Like, refs can't just assign points. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Ross on this one. You got to let it go. Just let it go.
And I was mad at the Commanders for not keep doing it. They didn't keep doing it. They just finally said, all right, we won't jump off sides.
Well,
and then
the equivalent of
then they got the touchdown. I was like, just let the refs.
See, that's interference.
But it's the equivalent of you're playing a game where there is a rule like that, and you keep doing it to be annoying, and everybody hates you, and you're saying, not rules are rules. And I like that. I've kind of,
And what I can't get my head around is why the Philly can do it so well, and then we watch the Bills game, and Josh Allen got stopped twice, and he's not doing it like Philly. Like, do it like they do it. He's like doing a traditional quarterback sneak, and he's doing a little push, but it's like you need to go straight ahead and get the arrow put. Anyway, I don't know. It seems like
what I would do is I would ball into a ball and I'd have you throw me over, right? Like I think 2 guys holding me and I'm I think I fly through the air.
There's some rule about using.
You can't throw a man.
No, like using other players for leverage to like jump. I know there's,
I think if you gave me like a dragon's tail, like if you gave me a dragon's tail, I could run up like as fast as I can.
Like that would be interesting if you got a little, you had one little person on your roster as an emergency running back. And then you had the hold on.
We're reinventing the game here.
And then you have
you got Ross's attention. He woke back up.
Person,
Ross is in.
Like 2 guys throw him as high over the line.
I think I'm perfect for it. Once I get my hips redone, I'm perfect because you don't want a really little person. You can't have a waddler.
Like you have like a little.
You gotta have You gotta have like a tiny man like me.
But like a little gymnast, like a light gymnast, and then he ran, and then you just threw him as high as you could because you could get 10 feet.
He did a flip.
You get 2 male cheerleaders, like one of the slight ones, and then one of those big beefy ones.
Yes, a beefy.
Hand the ball to the slight one, and the big beefy one does that 2-hand thing.
Yeah,
just up and over them.
Yeah. I think an old skidoo. An up and over.
Anyway.
People would watch the hell out of that.
Hell yeah.
Tell me you don't get excited when you see them hand the ball to a receiver, and then he throws a perfect spiral, and then the tight end catches it, and then they're like, oh, yeah, he played quarterback. He was a quarterback in college. And I'm like, oh,
a lot of that.
I love all that. Like, do way more of that.
As a guy who doesn't watch a lot of football, anything other than 2 lines of guys running into each other, nothing happening, and then reset for 4 minutes.
I'm a purist,
anything other
I'm
than
with
that.
Ross. Give me some crazy stuff. But it was. I wouldn't say it was a great weekend of football. I didn't watch those games.
The Bills-Chiefs game was. It was
good.
It was really close.
The Commanders game was.
It could have gone either way.
More
a blowout. Yeah.
More along the lines of this was a younger team with a new quarterback, and it was a lot more hype, and they were lucky to be there. there, and you don't want that. You want it to be more even, you know.
And the turnover regression finally got them, and
Yeah.
you know, like they were on the plus end of that the whole year, and then
this is the boring part.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'll move on.
If you can't hold on to the ball, if you can't hold on to the ball, you're done.
We'll move on.
They just kept like dropping every time I turned around. They're like, and a fumble, interception. I'm like, all right.
We'll talk about the Super Bowl the week of. Anyway.
Yeah, we're done for a bit, so you guys will be happy.
So a couple things. Ross, what'd you do over the weekend?
A couple of comedy shows, a little bit of trivia. We did a What Do You Want From Us at Framework Coffee, Dan's favorite comedy show here in town.
I do love that comedy
Got another
show.
one coming up the 22nd at the Bull and Bush, Dan. Put that on your calendar.
The 22nd of February.
We're going to do it at the Bull and Bush again. Nobody with Tourette's allowed in.
Love it.
Last time,
last time I was there
literally talked through the whole show.
Yeah, there
was
wild.
wild.
It was pretty. Like I say, it was fresh from COVID, fresh for me from COVID. But it was like the guy was like answering back everyone that talks. Like, you know, the one comedian's like, "How you guys doing? I'm doing great. How are you?" Like he's like that guy.
And like interjecting with just like swear words here and there. If he didn't have Tourette's, it was a good impression.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. But that is a very fun comedy show. And as far as I know, it's the only comedy show where you get to be a part of the show by selecting the jokes that the comedians tell you.
Mm-hmm.
We did the Orlando Science Center Beer Fest on Saturday.
Science beer.
That was fun.
It was a beautiful day.
Fantastic day.
I was so ready to get over the wet cold because it is like I've been to like a lot of cold Colorado every year.
You've been everywhere, man.
And then it is when it's humid and cold, it's way colder and 45 degrees than 45 dry.
It makes my hands not work. There's a wet cold where like I can't, like I have to go to the bathroom and like pour hot water in my hands to get them to type. You know, I know that's like a first world problem, but
I love when it's like 50 here and I call like my parents and my sister and it's like 2 degrees where they are and there's 10 feet of snow on the ground. I love it.
Yeah,
it's the
best.
We do complain about it a lot, right? Like,
but no, but from the other perspective, like, because I grew up in the snow, you know, walking to school and like snow over your head and like, oh, it's so much better here. It's such a better place.
Yeah, it really is. Even when it's cold.
Even when it's a little chilly out.
Yeah, and it was, man. It was pretty damn cold.
No, I was wearing a ski suit like everybody else, dude. My blood's thinned out.
Me and Daniel took a lift from Baldwin over to the Science Center because Daniel
like a scissor lift or like
we drove a scissor lift. It took like 3 hours to get over there.
My Uber is still shut down.
I'm glad
for
you did
years because it's like you could open it back up, but you have to show me the last transaction. And I'm like, well, that's 4 years ago. I don't even know where to find that now.
Yeah,
what the hell is going on?
So that account has been compromised.
So I
shut it down.
I just use the lift.
I was going to drive, but it gets a little tight over there at the Science Center. So I was like, well, maybe we should just take a lift because I drove around there earlier in the morning, and it was already like pretty much parked out.
Do you not use that garage across the street?
That's where I was kind of banking where everybody was going to go.
Okay.
So I was like, maybe it'll just be better if we take a lift. So we met here, and then you had to call the lift because I don't even have rideshare on my phone anymore.
So we get in the car and we're driving. It's a short drive, and then Daniel's a chirper. So
this is not my fault. They were chirping me.
Well, 2 chirpers.
I got pulled in. I got chirpinated.
It's kind of up to the driver. Yeah.
Well, this chirper was doing the thing, and I will if you're gonna give me context clues, if you're gonna give me clues, if you're gonna leave me breadcrumbs, I'm gonna bite because I figure there's a reason you want to say this. And this particular driver, she had on a wig, and she had referred to just moving to Orlando and then telling us, like, hey, once I get my surgery done, I've got to get my surgery this. I'm going to New York to get my surgery. And I was like, they were like, and I was like, well, hey, good luck with your surgery. Like, I would just like, I'm in, you know, like, hey, I'll play.
It was it was blatantly obvious that she was talking about like a transition surgery. Right?
Absolutely. 100%.
Which I almost pulled this joke that I pull all the time when, and tell me if you like this, Ross, is that where
this is a new bit we're doing called If He Had Done the Joke, would you have laughed?
I do it with gay people all the time, where if someone is so
I wish we did drops on this show.
where if someone with a male or female, if someone is so obviously gay, right? And and I know you like this. No one's obviously gay. There's no gay anything. But I'm saying.
But if they are,
I'm saying it is.
You're over-explaining. Just power through.
No, I know, yeah. But I'm saying it is.
Just do the goddamn joke.
It's so obvious. Like the person.
if I've gone through my checklist and 3 or more factors have determined they are gay.
And who knows? It could be a Chrysler scenario where I'm like thrown out like, oh, straight up here. But I'm just saying like, oh, it's just so overly the top flamboyant that it's just like it's obvious to everybody.
We're in. You're fine. You've done enough.
I often like to turn to Crystal and say, I wonder where this guy's wife is. like to be so ignorant, like to not understand.
It's the dumb old man.
Yeah, the dumb old man to be like, I had this guy's wife let him leave the house like this anyway, or something like. And then I just say that because
I
it's
will
so
say
stupid.
that this person was like the hardest to read because when we got in, they had to turn down their Morgan Wallen. The loudest Morgan Wallen you've ever heard playing. The loudest country music blasting.
But I was gonna do when they're like, she was like, I'm doing my surgeries up in New York because they have better doctors, whatever. I made
a joke about that. I go, you don't want the hillbillies around here cutting on you, and she was like, I know.
It was blatant. It was a transition surgery, but I was gonna go like, oh. Heart surgery? What are you gonna
right.
Like I was gonna be ignorant.
I would have laughed at that.
Anyway, but then
I would have laughed at that.
They also brought up a point that I thought was interesting, and she was saying like I want to move to Florida because I feel like it's safer here for me.
Yeah.
Because I see police at all the schools and all the events, and I see a lot more police than I see in New York.
She
and I
said
was like,
police
that's
presence
weird.
is like she's like the number one thing I get out of driving around here and lifting people around is that I see police everywhere. And I looked at her, I go, I've never really thought about that. So I said, do you feel safer as a person of trans, and they're like, oh yeah, way better here, way better. And Tom and I were like, whoa. And I said, well, I'll take that as a compliment to my city that you want to move here because you look around and you go like, well, this place is for me. I'm like, well, I'll take that as a compliment. That's very kind.
Obviously, it's one person's opinion, so what it doesn't represent every transgender person's opinion. But I found it super interesting that she thought that Florida was safer. At least perception-wise, than New York City.
I would have never gotten that tidbit if she had not chirped me. But that was an interesting. Yeah. And you even said that. You were like, really? Like of just like because he has to do the. You sure about that? Like even to
you think Florida if you lived in New York, you're like Florida's a podunk, swampy South kind of. Like that's the reputation I believe that we have. Sure. That we
you
were.
You find parts of it that are like that.
No, of course. Or you find parts of New York, but like in New York City, you would think is like way more progressive and big city, like transgender, any sort of anything.
Yeah.
That no one bats an eye at. You go to Florida, it's a little more eccentric here. But not to this person. Anyway.
With only the Florida experience of it, really, I'm going to say the difference maybe is that my personal opinion of like the cops in Orlando specifically, they don't do a lot of your like speeding ticket type cop stuff, like where they're looking for you to be doing something so they can write you a ticket to make a little bit of money. They're more like around to help if you need them than like out there looking for you doing stuff wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's small town.
I would agree. I've never been, again, I'm a white guy, so I mean, take that for what it's worth.
From that perspective,
I've never been walking downtown. Even I might have been doing bad things, like drinking when inappropriately or smoking weed.
Exactly.
I've never had a cop like fuck with me. No.
This is ACT.
No,
oh, Dan did it. Yeah. Great day in the morning. I love it.
Oh, my God. And then I did that. And then I poured my drink everywhere. Oh, my God.
Oh, this is good luck. This is like when a bird craps on you. It's good luck.
All right, let's take a break because Daniel spilled Mountain Dew everywhere.
It's
and
okay.
then
it's fine.
Curse said the F word. He's out of control.
It's not like you have to edit it. So why are you worried about it?
I like when a guy visibly vibrating with stress screams, "It's all right. It's all right."
Calm. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll have more corporate time.
And if it sounds different, it's because Dan spilled Mountain Dew on the board.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
I lost where I was. That's a testament to how comfortable I am when Ross is here.
That's hilarious. I didn't even notice, Tom. Thank God you were on the trigger.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was fairly immersed.
Uh-huh.
All right, 123. You want to hear something weird though about this particular show? Every segment that we've done, whether it's been 1, 3, or 4, has been exactly 23 minutes long. Every single segment.
All right.
Which is weird. Very, very weird.
Is that a tactical flashlight?
It's just the.
I asked him the same thing.
It's just like a battery because my phone's a little bit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Do you need a charger?
No, I got all the gear.
It was at the end, so I'll just make it 22. A full pig was roasted in a shopping cart at the Philly game.
Huh.
People have been doing that for like a long time, though, right?
In a shopping cart, though?
Yeah, like the old school, well, I know they had those wooden boxes that you put the coals in, and then you put the pig inside. That you kind of splatchcock it and put it inside the wooden box. That's like a Latin thing, I think.
Don Price one time, did one in a hole at his place.
Yeah, pig roast. That's big in Miami. In the backyard, dig a hole, then
delicious.
You put palm fronds and some other shit, and
banana leaves or something on it.
I think you're smoking it in there, right? Or like
it's like a
bed of coals.
Yeah, it's like slow coal cooks. Yeah.
Keep that. Okay.
We can talk about roasting a pig because I've never when they serve it full with the head on. I'm like it's fine.
It can be off-putting,
but
I don't like looking at it.
Don't like it as much. Like that. It makes me a pussy.
It's like a hairy pussy. You don't like it as much.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give you an example you like.
It's
like you'll do it, but it's not as good.
Yeah. Like I'll cut off of it.
See, we're different. I like a hairy pussy.
Pussy with an apple in it, though.
Yeah, with a beer can. Pussy with a beer can in it. I remember I got really fucked up looking at one of my dad's porn magazines. There's a pussy with a Corona in it. It fucked me up. Fucked me up bad. You're not supposed to do that.
No, it's for lime.
All right. Jesus, man. I'll bring us back. Here we go.
Should we talk about that meteor video? We can talk about.
Oh yeah. I got it. I got it. Yeah. No, I can play it. It's not on the right.
Or is there anything other relevant?
I have that old school picture of me too that we can play for Ross.
Oh yeah, I'll tell Ross about this stump grinder guy.
Okay. Would you like to bring us back?
Okay. Yeah.
Here we go. And 3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. So Ross, I know you like cool machinery.
Heck yeah, dude.
Is it really? Is that a thing?
I'm 6 years old.
I don't like the way you said that. Hey Ross, I know you like cool machinery.
So
you talking backhoes?
Oh, this is something I've never seen.
Yeah.
Okay. I hired
a directional drill.
I hired this company to grind a stump in my backyard. Right.
First of all, I cannot believe the statement that just fell out of your mouth.
Yeah.
I've never heard of him even hiring a company to do. Yeah.
A company?
Yeah. What the hell?
I know. And
where's Tom then?
It was non-BDM related. Yeah. I didn't ask her. It was just I went on
drugs?
Google.
No drugs involved?
I literally went to Google. I never do this, by the way, ever.
You went to Google?
Do we have a test to make sure this is Tom and not an impersonator?
He just said, I literally went to Google. You are my father. You talk just like my dad. I went to Google.
What if I just turned into your dad?
I would love it. I'll start hugging you. I'd have a better life. I'm like,
get off me.
That's a hell of a science fiction movie, right? Like this Florida guy becomes my dead dad.
And so I'm on Google and I just find the top one and then I'm like, all right, this
really
stump grinding.
By the way, that is exactly what my dad would do.
Yeah.
Literally, he wouldn't look down the page. He'd be like, number 1, click, number, call, done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know,
Google's done the work for you.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting? A lot of companies have gone to this model, and I'm not used to it. And they were like, I'm like, I got the stump, whatever. It's all text. Wait, I'm not talking to a person. Like I called and left a message.
This with Paisley Painting.
No, I know. And then they text me back. They're like, "What do you need done?" I'm like, "I describe
Who is this?
They're like, "Send me pictures and draw it out on your picture. What like the area and all that stuff."
Draw it out. You don't know how to do that.
Then, well,
Do
now
you have to Google it again? How to draw on picture.
It took me a couple times.
Get Tommy over there.
And I'm like, which one is it? The highlighter or the pen? So I draw it.
I know exactly. I'm erasing it. Oh, no.
How do you change the color?
Oh, it's too skinny. It's a tiny. And then you draw it 3,000 times to make a thick line.
And I also I finished the drawing with all the paint and everything in there, and then just take a screenshot.
Oh, Grandpa, you didn't just say that.
No, I don't know. I don't want to.
Hilarious.
Yeah, just close it.
Yeah,
It'll save
the guy texts back, charge your phone.
the pictures I sent have the drop down, the magic marker and the colors. And anyway, so I send it, and then the lady's like, "All right, like $5.75," like, and then I'm like, "Okay."
She just eyeballed it and gave you a price?
Yeah, and then I'm like, there's, by the way, I know you can get in a lot of other companies to ask how much they'll charge. I'm not doing anything.
Well, before you continue,
deal.
The chat room would like to know what is the fallout, because this is the second part, really, of the story. The first part of the story was last week when you called 811, Sunshine 811 or whatever it was. Oh. And so they want to know what happened.
Okay, well.
Do you have to give a follow-up? The chat room is requesting to know what happened. Did you know you have to call before you dig in your backyard?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Of course Ross knows that. He's a good homeowner, great dad, good husband.
Well, I called, and then I got spammed by a bunch of companies, and then I finally got a report back from 811 that showed me a list of companies, and they all said clear except for the city of Castleberry. And it said
it just had like a picture of Kid Rock, a small picture of Kid Rock shooting guns in the air. I don't know what that means.
But
I think it means freedom. You're free to do what you want.
It said like extreme something, like
okay, extreme something.
It said like not extreme caution, but extreme
danger.
Oh no, it said peril. Didn't it say erroneous circumstance or extreme circumstances?
It said extreme circumstances. Yeah. And then I was like, what the hell does that mean, Castleberry? And then I'm like, I'm not gonna call. No one's gonna know. No, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna look.
So for the record, he got back the guide to where he was digging from 811 Sunshine or Sunshine 811, and all 6 of the companies around there said, "Hey, you're good to go," except for one, which is the city of Castleberry, that said extreme circumstances.
But it didn't say anything else, like what is under there. And then I know my backyard. I know where the wires are roundabout. I know what's underground.
I've been digging in there. Is a lie. I don't believe.
I've been digging
my backyard. Do you believe that?
I'm in my backyard all the time.
Do you believe that? Would you bet your son's lives on it? You know your backyard?
I've been digging for 10 years back there.
I know you have. You've also been cleaning your garage for 10 years.
You know,
I don't know. I know you don't know what's in your garage.
You know how many hours I spent walking around my backyard?
I know, but you don't know anything.
So high that it resets my memory every 30 seconds, and I'm forgetting where I was like, oh, yeah. It's like, oh. Anyway.
God, you know, I hate to take Tom's side, but like if the gas company and the power company all said like there's no big easement running through your yard, and the city of Castleberry probably said like something like, we don't know. It could be something. We're just not sure. We can't assure you that there's nothing, but end of the day, nobody's running anything through a tree stump.
That's
so
what
if you're taking out a tree stump, you know, if there is a gas line running through the tree stump, you're kind of doing them a favor by blowing it up.
That's what I thought. Also, I think they meant...
It's also blanking impressive that it's running through a tree stump. I got to see that.
However they did it back in the day. Yeah,
that's phenomenal. How do you even... How do you even make that happen?
They meant the water lines on my left side, because all the 811 asked me is like, what side are you, left or right from the...
That's if you're standing on the question. That's what your tailor asked you.
And so I think they meant like, hey, the water line's over there, so extreme, be careful. But this is in my backyard, not through... Anyway, so I was like, all right.
And from having surveyed and like having been around engineering for a number of years, like they often, you can have a full underground, like the guy comes out with the little machine that can see underneath and stuff, and have that all run, and they still find stuff.
Don't they
still find stuff?
Well, but this isn't for you. I mean, isn't this just documentation that you're going to be given like, are you're giving it to the people you're hiring?
No, they don't care.
Okay, right. Yeah.
They just suggested, they're like, hey,
Yeah.
we're not responsible for anything we break, so you got to check it.
Yeah.
Because we're going to grind great.
So
We're going to rip it up.
So if they're grinding and let's say they hit something and you just start spraying water, do they just quietly pack their stuff and drive away?
You would think
like,
that.
is that what they do? Like they're like, boom, and it's like there's a geyser in your front yard and the guy just drives everything out, gets in his truck and drives away?
Not every company offers that modern plumbing no explosion guarantee.
I know.
You would think too, like they would be cautious about hitting something that would damage their equipment or themselves, or like hit a gas.
Maybe we're underestimating how fun it is to destroy stuff with this equipment because like you take more risks when it's super fun.
In my experience with stump grinder guys, they are has there ever been a fence or any fencing near this tree? That is like the only thing they care about because it can tear up those carbide teeth on their machine, and those things cost a lot of money.
Okay, well, because there was I took down fence so that he could.
You lied.
Like it's literally on the fence line of me and my neighbor's
yard.
yard.
There a fence here? You're like, no, sir,
No,
fence here.
they didn't care about that. I cut a fence post with Daniel Sawzall.
Yeah, I did that back. It's been 15 years.
And he grinded that up crazy.
You know when
too.
he borrowed that is when that was in 09. He borrowed that. That's
Wow.
09.
Wow.
I'm going to get you a new one for your birthday.
I don't want a new one. I want that one. I want my heritage. I want my legacy saw.
It's had a little wear and tear since the last time
Just
you
give
saw
me
it.
new blades. New blades.
No, it's got a lot of rust on it. And I never cleaned it ever once.
It's a great sawzall.
There's grass been in it for 10 years.
Like I still got the fingerprints of my father on it.
So,
how long did you own it?
Oh, my dad bought it for me.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like I only owned it for honestly 8 months before this. He borrowed it.
15 years.
Yeah, he's had it for 15 years. And every week he'll use it for a new project. He's used it for everything. That sawzall built his entire mansion. You should bring it in one day just to show people that we're not effing around. Like I think there are people that think that this is a fake thing, and it is not a fake thing. If you brought it in and showed everywhere, they don't even make that model anymore. It's been discontinued for 10 years.
It does make me a D-head. I realize. Like I was borrowing something and never return, and then use it all the time in the person's face.
Well, it's yours now. It's yours. You've got
no,
it.
that is yours. I'll get it back one day. I'll leave it to you in my will.
In what sense is it Dan's? He has no control
I
over
haven't
it.
seen it in years. I wouldn't even know what it looked like. I was going to describe it, full transparency. I was going to describe it for a joke. I don't even know what color it is. I think it's yellow.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, you're right.
I think it's a DeWalt, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You're
That's a
the
goddamn good sawzall.
You're the John Walsh of sawzalls.
But oh man, you should see the case. It was all the bits, all the blades are organized and everything. When I got it, it's a nightmare.
I'm surprised
now.
you got the case.
There's screwdriver bits in there. Stuff from other project nails.
Old zip ties.
I lost
broken,
every blade. I have one rusty bent blade that I use.
Still as good as it ever was.
So the company shows up and they show up with a giant piece of equipment on the back of a trailer, and I'm like, oh, because I only have the width of a standard gate, like a wooden gate to get through. Okay. And so he shows up with this giant equipment. I thought it was smaller, like
did you freak out a little bit?
like hand operated, like kind of like a old school edger used to be,
like a lawnmower or something.
But something like this thing was I'm not. It was the size of about 2 refrigerators side by side, and then about 2 refrigerators long.
What kind of refrigerators?
Like standard, like not the wide ones, but the standard, like
2 mini fridges,
2 doors.
Like
no,
you'd have in a dorm room,
full size.
Okay,
and then I have a
freezer on the top or freezer on the bottom. What are we looking at?
How many
here?
bananas are we talking?
Yeah,
I'm gonna show Twitch
double doors or single doors,
because I've got a video.
Stainless steel. Are we talking stainless? Gunmetal stainless?
The
freezer on the bottom, freezer on the top.
Yeah, that's an important question we need.
So look at this. Oh gosh.
Oh, what are you on porno?
Did it have an
Turn your VPN off. Turn your VPN off. He's on porno.
No. I realized that.
Did it filter water?
Yeah, he's on X videos looking at Big Mouth.
So can.
Yeah, I got it on.
Yeah. Look at this thing. So that is the stump grinder. So now this is basically, it was a remote control. So the guy.
That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah.
The guy got out and with a remote control, backed it off the trailer, drove it through my gate.
That. I feel like you don't need it. He could have just been standing on it, right?
And then had this huge blade on the front and just like, and then side by side grinded up the stump, and then it was shooting out it was shooting out black wires.
Hold on a second.
And the only thing that is shot
by my cable
was the wires.
Yeah. It won't shoot the wood.
And the guy was standing right in front of it, which I was like, this guy is going to get pulled into it and rip his legs off.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He was driving it towards himself?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was like getting close to it.
If that guy's using the remote control and he uses it to drive over himself and the remote control, do you just go inside and let it run out of gas?
No,
and act like you don't know what's happening?
It's going to keep going towards my pool and fall.
That's fine. But you got to you got to go inside and act like you didn't know what happened. No, it's like if you were looking at it and it ate his legs. And
I turn around.
You have to just go inside and put a pillow over your head. I was taking a nap.
You got to call 811 immediately. If that happens.
I have a man. It ate a man's legs, man. Oh my God.
So it was a big, thick black wire with
I've seen these videos.
Metal shards, and then it was throwing the wire everywhere, and it was shooting it out into my neighbor's yard.
It's shooting wire into your pool.
By the way, which I quickly gathered and then threw in the garbage. So that no one would find. Like I was worried that my neighbor would be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, my power's not working, and there's wires everywhere.
And then
So when wire started coming out and he stopped, what did you guys do?
He didn't stop.
No.
He didn't stop. He powered through. Because that guy is he goes through the wire guarantee. Kanye West through the wire.
He that did not stop him, and he saw the wires. He just
he'll take milk for what is it? Milk for an insure for dessert. Somebody
sipping on the scissor.
Yeah, sip the scissor.
I
haven't heard that song in 20 years.
It's been a while.
Got rid of the whole stump. Now I will say it took him 1 hour. That was it. Then he took the remote control, went back into thing, and then I'm like $575. He sold him which is good money, but he used an $80,000 piece of equipment to do the work of. I mean,
how many basic cable packages he has to mow through to pay for that robot?
Like if I went to Home Depot and just got man labor to come just axe this stump out of here, it would take them it'd be probably more than $575.
Can't you pour gasoline and soak it for days and then light it on fire and then it'll burn for eternity?
Yeah, I would have to deal with my neighbors wondering why I'm the internal flame is
burning
for
days, for weeks.
Then I
you have an underground fire.
Plus, I don't think you could burn it out underground. The
roots go so far and so deep. Yeah,
and it's wet, mud around it. And it'll just put out the fire. It was worth it. Honestly, and
a lot of mud after you broke that water pipe running up through it.
Then I
no problems with your internet or anything. No
problems
with
no. I don't know if the neighbor.
Well, you never will. You never will know. That's the beauty of it. You'll never know.
Well, I imagine that.
If they come around, they're like, "Hey, you guys got power?" You will like, "Yeah, we got power. Anything going on?" And they're like, "Have you guys had anything equipment or anything around here?" Like, no, nothing around here.
Well, I immediately raked it. Also, my neighbor, because I had all this mulch. 10 wheelbarrows of mulch from the stump, and I couldn't I didn't know what to do with it.
But they're all mixed with wires.
So I was thinking, do I put it in the back of my truck or whatever? So I asked my neighbor, who's super nice, and I've helped her out a lot.
Why are you prefacing? Why are you saying that?
Because
you did something bad to her.
No, I said.
That's why you're saying she's super nice.
I said, hey, I was like, do you mind? I grinded the stump, which was halfway on her property, halfway on mine.
And she's like, I love that stump.
And no,
my husband used to sit on it. And my husband used to sit on it and do his Bible study.
It was under the grass, but she apologized. She's like,
that was his favorite. His favorite under the grass stump.
And I was like, do you care if I spread the mulch in your backyard? And just to get rid of it. I don't know what to do with it.
Spreading my husband's ashes in the backyard.
And then she's like, yeah, no problem, whatever.
Don't take any mulch, just make sure it's not full of wires.
I'm going to go outside and figure out what's wrong with my cable, but you can go ahead and spread the mulch anywhere you want, but I haven't had cable for days. And my 911 doesn't work. And I'm diabetic.
I put too much mulch in it.
You just dumped it all there.
I dumped it
like a mountain of mulch back there.
And you know how mulch is only really supposed to be bored around the border?
What'd you do?
I just made her whole backyard.
You're the fucking worst neighbor. Would you use the saws all to do this? I did curse again. I'm too comfortable.
I just, the whole, I'm not joking, 20 by 20 section of her back, I just put the mulch in a giant square. Because I started piling piling it up.
Like
in the
how many
corner.
fridges worth of?
So 20 fridges. And then I was like, oh. So I put the fence back up, and I was like, yeah, she'll probably, like look back there and be like, oh, okay.
I also love the idea.
He's like, this selfish.
He took the fence down, and he's walking in her backyard. But you raise the ground back there 2 feet. Like you can stand. You can stand and peek over the fence. There's so much mulch in her backyard now.
Did she have grass back there?
Not anymore. It's all dead now.
Yeah, it was more like weeds that kind of like turned into just greenery. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a weed greenery.
That's the situation I
It's
got.
not
You've
like
been in my backyard.
I wouldn't put it on St. Augustine.
Yeah,
Like it was just kind of weeds, and it was the back corner. But it was like not, normally you just do the corners around the edges. But I ran out of space after, like I did, it was like 20 wheelbarrows. 20 wheelbarrows. And then I just had to keep putting it up, and then I had to spread it with a rake. And then I was like, oh, this is a big square. Like I came off the side, the edge of the fence by 10 feet.
So her whole backyard is wood.
And I was like, the rain will get it.
It just make a wet wood back there.
And then
the good
she
thing
doesn't
is
go back there that much.
That's gonna kill any good grass, and only the hardiest weeds will survive.
Yeah. You're leaving her with the.
Well, it was that, or I take it all, I load it into the back of my truck.
Well, it's your trash.
Yes.
You weren't supposed to put it in her yard.
It was either.
It's your trash.
It was
it's
either.
also
It's
not
mulch.
mulch. Let's
It's
not.
mulch.
I want to curse so bad,
No,
but let's
it's-
not mess around.
it's organic.
It is not mulch.
It's like a banana peel.
It's a ground stump. Mulch is nice. It looks good. It's dyed a color. It smells good. This is
No,
is
that's
no.
marketing. That's
it's
Home Depot. No.
It's not marketing.
That's
this
big
is not
mulch.
mulch. This is not mulch. This
Big mulch is putting a lot of
This
marketing
is
behind
tree
it.
trash.
It's
this
all
is tree trash.
It was also mixed with an immense amount of soil, which made it
and
kind of-
wires and wires.
and wires in there, which made it a doo-doo black mulch. With
It's black. What color is the mulch?
It was really just soil with wood chips in it.
What color is the mulch you
I
spread?
A big 20 by 20
Now,
square.
if Ross and I were doing a decorative garden out here, we would probably use like a burgundy or an orange mulch.
Yeah.
What color is the mulch you spread in your backyard?
It was black and brown.
Black and brown.
But mostly
Bruise.
black.
Bruise color.
It was it was really just like loose soil with the chips
With
in
wires
it.
in it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I picked out them as much wires as I could. Anyway.
I like that you were like, this is my only choice. It was either this or responsibly dispose of it. I had no choice.
I had to spread the ground up trash in the old
It
lady's
was
yard.
all I could do.
It's ground up trash.
Well, there's a bush kind of blocking her view, so she looks out the window. You can't see it.
Okay.
The bush. She won't see this trash I'm spreading because of her bush.
Now, did you?
Hey, she's so nice.
Did you take concealment of the crime into account, or did that was a happy coincidence?
Well,
I can't breathe. I'm laughing so
I
hard.
figured if she had a real big issue with it, she would say like,
Too
"Hey,"
old to do anything
like,
about it. You're bullying her.
and then I'll say no. I was like, all right, I'll like, you want me to spend
Did
2
she,
days raking
did she walk out back and go like, oh, this looks amazing? I want to see. Do you have a photo of it? I got to see what it looks like. Because you just spread trash in this lady's backyard. And you're trying to come off like you're a hero. And I got it. It stops today. It ends today.
I didn't plan on talking about this.
We got to get a photo.
Well, yeah.
Can Crystal take a photo right now?
Oh God! You know
It looks bad, doesn't it?
Well, she can't get back because I put the fence up and then I closed her fence and
Yeah. So you put the trash back there that you sealed up the walls. Right?
so like there's a zombie in there and then you brick it up. So and then you're like, keep out.
You write it in blood. You put a chain on it. I've seen that. That's good. You need to do that. You need to do that.
Well, she doesn't use her backyard. It's just her and a little
Yeah.
peepee dog that she likes, and then
And he can pee on wires. It's fine.
and she doesn't let the dog back there because the eagle
we
or
can't
like the
now.
hawks
He
will
can't
get
now.
it.
He'll eat the wires out.
No, I
rip his
picked out the
intestines apart.
majority of the
start,
wires.
start checking your trash bags over the fence. She doesn't use it. I
Yeah,
mean,
you
you
could
might
do
as well
that.
start doing
You
something.
could
like
do
Come
that.
on.
Yeah.
This is not this. It's
Why don't you
mulch.
just-
It's organic.
Why don't you just take the fence down and just use her backyard?
Okay, if someone threw a banana peel in your yard, are you gonna get
Yeah.
mad at that? It'll just
Does
disintegrate.
the banana peel have wires in it?
I feed my staghorn banana peels. It's like plant food.
But not all of us want trash in the front, trash in the back. Some of us don't want trash.
And maybe I don't want like half an acre of banana peels covering my whole backyard.
That's a great point.
Well, the rain will get it eventually, and then if you're not even to see it, and then it
looks like,
don't even know.
Looks like Donkey Kong's been living back there for a month.
Oh my God! Because you know what? You know why I know we hit a nerve? Is when I asked for the photo. We asked for the photo evidence in the backyard, and he's like, "I did not plan on talking about it." That means it's bad.
Well, you know, you start piling it up in the corner, and you're like, God, this pile is 3 feet tall already, and then you're like, I gotta rake it out, and then when you start,
you made a mess.
When you start evening it out, then it's like, wow,
you made a mess, didn't you?
It's as big. I'm not joking. It's as big as a studio square.
When you start throwing your coffee grounds and your eggshells over the fence, just make sure you work the fence. You don't want to pick one spot and make a big pile. You want to spread it out so the rain can soak it.
You have your own.
I don't want to be this person.
We have to talk about this on the PDM show. You have successfully done something that no man has ever done. You have a private dump. You have your own little dump.
Oh, yeah.
He can just throw if done correctly, he can throw whatever he wants to in that lady's yard.
No,
she ain't going to see shit because there's... I did it again because of the bush. The bush.
No, I'm not throwing... No, this is mulch. And how can I fix it? I don't want to be the person that's bad to their neighbors. Like, what if she does walk out and she's like, oh, my God.
Because she doesn't know. She doesn't know.
She can't see it. There's a bush in the way.
Yeah.
None of her. Like, she went back there and like, oh, man. Because now I'm feeling guilty that she'll go back there to see like how it all turned out.
No, she's fine.
And then she'll be like, "Oh, that's kind of
wow." This young man has spread trash everywhere.
No, I've known her for 12 years.
Paul and his trash.
And how do I fix it, Rose?
Well, I think you've sold me on the rain will take care of it, because if you think about it, you could park like a Sherman tank in your backyard, and on a long enough timeline, the rain's going to take care of it.
Acid rain too. You might get lucky.
Eventually, the rain will get rid of that. You just got to wait it out.
Yeah. I mean, when you're saying the phrase "the rain will take care of it," are you meaning her death? Are you meaning?
No.
I'm asking. Yeah. I'm just asking.
All right.
I didn't mean
it shouldn't be so public in the radio. We'll switch over.
I'm getting a divorce. I just don't talk about it.
We'll if switch. You need mulch. Call Tom.
A lot of these things we plan on talking about in the BDM show, although this I didn't even want to talk about.
This one we kind of went down a road.
So we'll be back with more corporate time.
Yep. Sorry about cursing. Jesus.
No. Like you said, I don't know
why
I was saying it so we realized that we didn't.
Oh, no, I got them written down. I'll get them.
Because we can curse as many times as you want. I just feel bad because you got to go back and fucking edit it out.
My fault. I'm having too much fun. Oh, my God, we did another 23. Oh, my God. Did you do that on purpose?
No.
That's weird. That is really weird. God, that was really funny. That was a really funny segment.
I will take a picture.
Oh my
just
God.
for a BDM show.
Yeah, you should. That's really funny. I know we're making it worse than it is, but that's what makes it funny.
Look, you can see where the bush is. This because look how much the bush is behind the machine.
She won't see it.
No, well, the thing is,
bush will probably grow out, right? Over it? No?
Well, it's more of it is a dickhead thing to do, because if someone says you can spread mulch in my backyard, you assume that they're spreading mulch in the traditional fashion. Where
you're not a traditional mulch man. You're a non-traditional mulch man. You've always been that. Even I know that.
Yeah.
Let me ask a dumb question, but I'm pretty sure Ross knows the answer to this. Is he a traditional or untraditional mulchman?
Oh, non-traditional.
Yeah, non-traditional.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah. So Ross knew that. Of course, Ross knew that.
This is if you see the bush in the backyard, back corner.
Yeah.
That's around that back corner is where I spread a lot of this mulch. You see? Oh, shit. Hold on.
That was a big porno, big titties. Titties.
All right, what? Let me see who this is. Hold on.
Are we gonna go power through to BDM now?
Hello.
Hi, this is a message from GM Financial. Please call us back toll free at 1-877.
Oh.
Oh, that's real.
No, I realize that's
You are not playing for your 2019 GMC Silverado. Thomas Fan. You're like, oh, I was going to fuck with him.
I clean out my garage and park it in my garage. I can't repo it. I know that. That's the law.
We knew you were spreading balls for extra money. We knew it. All right, is this BDM?
Yeah, we just need to switch over to BDM page.
Fuck!